Hi, welcome back. This is Deborah Peters and my podcast, Neuroscience for Success. This new series is the journey of the mastery of your mind. And with me again today, and ever so grateful to have you here, is my co-host, Richard Daniel Curtis. Say hello.
Why, hello, guys.
So excited to be doing this one today. This is like a super big podcast that we're doing today because the topic is huge. And but before we get into that, I just want to say thank you so much for subscribing, for sharing, for commenting, for liking. Everywhere I go now, it's either I get messages through email or our website, and people are just saying thank you for what these vlogs bring to the table for our viewers. And so we're grateful to have you, and please keep that going because that's what's making this so much more fun. The more we can get this out to large numbers of people, the more positive effect we can have on everyone on the planet. So did you want to give your Twitter handle straight out of the chute for us, Richard?
Yeah, let's do it. So mine is at Dad and Expert.
Can you spell that?
DADANDEXPERT. Dad and Expert. That's
Dad
me.
And Expert. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. And of course, mine is NEI and then the number 4 change. So definitely find us on Twitter and look us up on LinkedIn. We've got some pretty robust profiles on LinkedIn and also on Facebook, obviously. So
Absolutely. You know, it's great to, and I've had a few people connect because obviously I'm over the other side of the pond. I've had a few people connect with me through LinkedIn and through Twitter as a result of this. And please do. It's, you know, the more people that we can meet, the more people we can interact with, you know, find out a bit about the work that we do. But likewise, we want to find out a bit about what you're doing and how we can help you.
Absolutely. And so, you know, what's cool about this is there seems to be, especially through YouTube, there seems to be this magical number that once you hit this magical number, then you can really do a lot more with YouTube. And that number is 1,000 subscribers. So that's our like immediate goal. It's our little bitty goal. And if you can help us achieve that, that would be really awesome. So yeah, love, lots of love. Okay, so what are we covering today is belief and belief in yourself. So
I am so sorry. I'm so excited. I'm just sat here. I'm just like, oh my goodness me, this is amazing. This is an amazing topic, and I can't believe we haven't done this, Deborah. My goodness me, this is so huge, and it's just oh my goodness me. Carry on. Sorry. Oh.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I agree. I can't believe we haven't done this either, but you know, all in due course. Like there's just so much that we can share. And I think what's inspired this is like I've been going through this massive shift. Like I can't even begin to articulate it quite yet. But if I were to try, I would say that what I'm experiencing is this stepping into really profoundly deep and authentic alignment with myself. And how that's showing up is, you know, if I start to feel just a little bit bad or a little bit low energy or a little bit negative, I see it right away. Like I've become this like uber observant person of myself. And as I start to feel these sort of like less than awesome emotions, I see it and I put myself in check and I ask myself like, what were you just thinking? What were you just thinking? Oh, it was that thought. Oh, well, that thought makes me feel bad. Why would I think a thought that makes me feel bad? So as I'm going through that process, then what I'm offering right after is a really cool question. And I think we've talked a little bit about the quality of your questions. And so this question that I'm asking myself is, well, what else is possible? You know, what else is possible? So with all of that said, I've been weeping a lot. I've been crying a lot. There's no emotion attached to the tears. It's just kind of like, I guess I'm kind of like having like an inner shower. Like it's just releasing from my system. And I just feel so amazing. And that amazing feeling is this, remembering of belief, remembering that I believe in me, and remembering that I believe in the thoughts I think around my goals and my dreams and how amazing and magical life is. And those feelings, those sensations are just like, wow, you know, there isn't a drug, there isn't anything on the planet that compares to this. So that's what I'm going through. And that's why I want to talk about belief for our viewers today.
Wow, wow, and I mean, it's so inspirational and so wonderful to hear your story. I mean, I'm certainly in terms of my belief story, I'm at a different point than you are, and just you know to contextualize kind of where I am, so that everyone understands the conversation that we're going to have. So I my background is that I as you can see, you know, the kid karma. I historically am a child behaviour expert. So much more nowadays. I'm doing work with adults, work with employers, work with business leaders. Looking at adult behavior, looking at adult mental health, looking at adult mindset, and that's all based on a very firm foundation on children's behavior. And certainly, I'm one of the leading experts in children's behavior, but actually, that means that knowledge, that base means that I can talk very competently about adult behavior, about adult mental health, about the issues that are coming up for business owners, that are coming up for entrepreneurs, that are coming up for in the workplace, are coming up for leaders. And it's only because of the self-belief journey that I've been on that I'm comfortable with doing that. I can remember, sort of 2 years ago, someone said to me, "Oh, you need to not tell anyone you were a child behaviour expert. If you're dealing with adults, you need to not mention it." And actually, I think that's completely wrong, because that's just kind of hiding my own, my own personality, my own identity. Actually, the reason that I can work so well with adults and understand adults so well is that I understand where all of those things come from, where all of those behaviours come from, the intergenerational stuff, the psychology, the attachments, the mindset. I understand where all of that comes from because I understand children so well. And so actually, as I'm working more, as I say, more and more in the adult field, and I would say at the moment, probably 75% of my working life is spent on adult behaviour as opposed to children's. It's only because I've got a very good sense of belief in my own skills and my own background and my own story. So I completely hear what you're saying, because actually that's something that I kind of went through, a couple of years ago, where I just spent almost so much time saying, well, who am I? Do I want to leave this behind? Do I want to embrace this? All of those things.
Well, what's interesting about that is I have gone through this many times, because there are always, there's the 4 levels of consciousness, right? You don't know what you don't know, you know what you don't know, then you know, and then you get into this place where it's just second nature, and then you start over. So I've had this experience very prolifically many times in my life. And every time I have this experience, I learn more deeply how to connect with me. The beauty of that is, as I learn more deeply how to connect with me, then I can better serve my clients. And when I'm working in a company, when I'm working with a leadership team, and I'm listening to and even observing things that they're experiencing. For example, if I'm working with which I am, I'm working with a few companies right now, and I'm seeing that they're at different levels of self-awareness. For one particular example, there's a slow process for them to execute on new ideas. And a new idea or a solution to a block or a choke point that they've had might take them weeks to execute on, when in actuality it's something they could execute on in like less than half a day. And it just drags and drags and drags. And I'm like, what's the drag? Well, the drag isn't anything external. The drag is their limiting beliefs. It's their negative self-talk. So I like to share and be really vulnerable about the processes that I'm going through. Forgive me, there's a siren going by.
No, that's all right.
So welcome to the urban metropolis, you know. But I like to share this with our viewers because I want you guys to understand something really profound, and that is, it's natural to go through these processes, these experiences where you offload the stuff you took on as a child from your environment because that's all you were taught, because that's all they knew too. And thus therein lies the passing down of these programs and patterns of thought that create emotion, that block you from achieving. And that's the reason I share that point.
It's so true. Have I told you? Have I told you my money story?
Yes, you have. Would you like to share it again?
Did I? I can't remember if I know. But I can't remember if I've told you on this. But it's so true. I mean, it's something that I spent a great deal of time dealing with. Is my parents' money story. You know, I can remember as a child the house being repossessed. I can remember my stepfather being unemployed. I can remember everything being really tight. My mother was the money maker. At one point, we had to move back in with my granny because she couldn't afford to live all of these things. And what I found was that really inhibited what I was doing and how my business was growing. And it was so important. It was such a turning point for me to sit down and have those conversations with my parents about where I am going financially and how actually I'm earning more than they've ever earned, and how just shaking off those shackles, because we are selfish beings. It always comes back to us and what we've experienced and what we've learned throughout our lives. And so as you become aware of it, as you go through the journey, as you become conscious of these things, it's really important you make conscious decisions about, okay, is that my belief or is it my parents' belief?
Right.
The other analogy I use is food. Have I told you the food analogy?
Tell us.
So when it comes to eating a meal, you're enjoying a meal, but very often you get to a point where you're comfortably full, but we will keep going until we've cleared the plate. And I'm sure you'd recognize this as well. And that comes from our parents, not from us.
Yeah, it comes from them being in struggle, having a poverty consciousness, all of those old stories that don't apply anymore. What's really cool is that you were actually able to sit down and have that conversation with your parents. And for those of you out there that just could never do that for whatever reason, whether your parents are still here or whether they would be totally resistant and unable to make that conversation work together, it doesn't matter. You can have that conversation with yourself. And you can start to observe, whose thinking is this? Is this my thinking, or is this their thinking that I'm dragging forward? And one of the biggest obstacles for a lot of people is when they start to earn more than what their parents have earned or achieve more than what their parents have achieved in their lifetime, the head game that can play with you. And, my answer to that is, that's what it's all about. The process of evolution. I'm a parent, you're a parent. I want my daughter to thrive quicker and bigger than what I was able to growing up and, carving out my space in the world. So, but not everyone really maybe can identify that, so you can still have that conversation. And the important thing is that you let go of all the judgment around it. So if you're making more than your parents ever made, that's something that, just embrace that and stay out of the shame on it. Because if you stay out of the shame on that, your parents stay out of the resistance of accepting that as well. And then that kind of, dissolves all of those issues.
Definitely, definitely. And belief is so much about, I mean, because on a daily basis, we're going outside our comfort zones. And self-belief is an important part of being able to go outside your comfort zone. There's something called a zone of proximal, I can't even say it, proximal comfort zone, which is just outside of your comfort zone, but not too far that you lose your own belief in your ability to do it. And there's a really good point in between that where actually you can succeed, but you are stretching yourself, you are extending yourself, but that's purely based on your self-belief, on your self-security. As I say, if you go too far, what you'll find is you really start to doubt yourself, and that's when it becomes self-fulfilling and you crash and burn.
Yeah, for sure. It makes me think of a book that I read a long time ago. I found it sitting on top of the recycle bin in my building, and it's called "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway."
Oh, love that, Susan Jeffers.
Right.
I have it here. I signpost people to that book all of the time.
Amazing. It's by Terry Cole Whitaker. She actually lives really close in California. I had no idea at the time, but when you do things like that, when you feel the fear and do it anyway, what it does is it builds up that muscle in you. It builds up that belief muscle, because fear is a no thing. It's not even real. It's just something that we've created in society. It's an energy. It's a feeling that comes out of negative thinking. So when you feel the fear and you do it anyway, you're building the belief muscle. And just like, like my biceps, I've been doing curls. So just like building a bicep, you build up a belief.
You do, absolutely. And it only comes with practice, going outside of your comfort zone and learning new skills and believing that you can achieve, believing that you can do these things. Because anything is possible, absolutely anything. It's just about about your attitude, it's about your mindset and about your belief in doing it. One of the biggest things that we see in terms of people failing as entrepreneurs is they start to see doubt creeping in, and once you get doubt is a parasite to belief systems. And actually, what you have to do is you have to overcome that, and you have to just find a way of pushing that away.
There's this concept in negotiations that whoever is the most connected to the outcome is the one that gets the outcome. And so how do you define connected? Well, it starts with, an alignment with yourself. And then that alignment with yourself is what aligns with the particular outcome that you're seeking. And that is an intangible. It's not something that you can actually feel or taste like on a tactile level. It's an intangible. It's something that's within you. And, there's so much like mind chatter that goes on, especially if you're listening and you're talking to other people that are not in alignment. You're just going to keep yourself out of alignment. You really have to become, wait. You really have to become circumspect in terms of who you hang out to and what you listen to and what you watch. Go.
How do you know that what you're doing is right for you, Deborah?
For me, it's a feeling. It's a feeling that is in my It's in my solar plexus. It's like, and I wanted to say this as my one, but I'll come up with another one. So, because
You
this
can
is
repeat it. It's fine.
so it's a feeling for me. It's belief. It's a feeling. And then another level up, which is even more powerful, is it becomes a knowing. You remember when we talked about appreciation and gratitude, and I said, okay, gratitude's here and appreciation's here, right? So believing is here, knowing is here. And so I've cultivated a awareness of what that is for me. And it's different for everyone.
I think so. So I agree completely with you, and it's almost identical, slightly different words, but almost identical to exactly how I describe it. The thing that I really look for is being able to describe it. The moment that you can describe what I don't know, you're coming up with a new product, and once this new product is out there on the market, then you're able to talk about what your team will look like, what the sales process will look like. As long as you can describe, as long as you can visualize and describe what that finished product will be like, then actually, I personally feel that's the ultimate belief in something.
Okay, so that works for you. And again, it's I think we all have to find what that is for us. And maybe that's a good exercise to give our viewers is, start paying attention to how you feel when you think a thought, when you think of your goals, when you think of your dreams, and you think of a desired outcome and something that you want. And notice, just pay attention. Does that feel good? Does it feel bad? If it's not really quite, connecting, then maybe you need to dig into it a little more and spend a little more time with it. And definitely don't talk to other people about it, because
Oh no. Oh, right? No, goodness me. Because the moment you give your personal belief to someone else for them to judge is the moment that it's not your personal belief at all. It's something that's out there for the taking.
Yeah, it's good. It's all over at that point. Speaking of being all over, our alarm went off. Yeah, so
fine yet again. Oh my goodness me! That's the problem with what we do, is we are just both so passionate and both so in flow. I mean, I get various people say to me, "How do you know? How do you keep these conversations going?" Because actually, we just flow. It just feels right. There is no resistance in our conversation as we're going, and that's how we feel the time.
it's a beautiful thing, as they say. So what's your one?
So my one for me is all about belief and flow, because actually, when you if you've got the right belief for you, then you will feel the flow. Inside your body, inside your mind, it will be absolutely, it will all be going in the right direction. Even if you're having to do tasks or jobs that you don't really want to do, you will feel that actually it's always moving you forward.
Yep. So my one is take time every day to tune into a belief that you know is true, because that'll help you identify the feeling, if it's a feeling for you, or the visual, or whatever it is for you. It'll help you identify that knowingness. Okay, so belief, knowingness. So you can start with simple things like universal quantifiers. So you can say to yourself, okay, is it true that the sun comes up every day? You may not see it, depending on which side of the pond you're on. However, that's irrelevant. So, do you believe that the sun?
Was that a dig about our weather, Deborah? Was that a dig about?
I knew you were gonna catch me on that one. I'm sorry, I had to. So, think about something like that's a universal quantifier. So the sun comes up every day, and feel that in your body. and you get a yes, right? So then you can use that. Again, we're coming back to calibration. Remember the last one we did where you stood up and you were like the leaning forward and backward with the yes or no? And I said, that's an awesome exercise. Before you ask the question, you got to calibrate to know what a yes is and what a no is. This is the same. So you want to think of a universal quantifier like, I breathe naturally. You know, I don't have to think about breathing. That's a universal quantifier. And you can feel the yes through your existence. Now you know what knowingness feels like. And then you can compare everything else to that knowingness. And you can start to cultivate that muscle around your goals and your dreams. That's my one.
I love it. Absolutely fantastic. My goodness me. Right, God. Well, please, to our listeners, please give us some comments. What is this? Because this is a really crucial episode. So please give us some comments. What has this episode done for you? What has it made you think of? What's it made you realize?
Yes, please. And share this with everyone, because I'm sure we all know lots of people that struggle with believing in themselves. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. We love you. Have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever you're doing. And believe in yourself.